Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. So we've got a puzzle here where we have to put each chess piece in its corresponding place. Now you may notice that there's actually fewer squares than an actual chessboard and fewer pieces. And this chessboard is from the 14th century, so in all likelihood the chess sets would look differently if they existed at all from that time frame. I don't know how old chess is or what the pieces would have looked like in the 14th century. Anyways, its turn is to click on any unplaced chess piece and it will turn to reveal a pattern on its base. Likewise, click on a hole and it will show the pattern. So this is just matching. Each chess piece must be dragged to the right place. If you try to put a piece in the wrong hole, it will jump back to the side. So we have a colored pattern of red, blue, green, dark blue. Which that seems like that is the right piece. I was not expecting something color oriented. I thought it was going to be little squares. Green, blue. There's a timer here too. So green, blue is what we're looking for. Red, green. Yep. Let's see, green, yellow, red, blue. Let's see, green, yellow, red, blue. Red, yellow, blue, green. That's this piece. The system's not working perfectly here. Red, green, yellow, light green, blue. Let's see. Red, green, blue, dark green. Red, green. Red, green, light green, blue. That should be that. Come on. Work. Green, yellow, blue, red. Green, yellow, blue, red. And I could probably just, without even looking, sit here and try them all. And just eliminate things by this way. So you don't even have to do the multiple clicks to solve this. And apparently I didn't need an extra piece because it's not using all the pieces of the chess set.
With the red pieces in place, the square bases fit onto the white pieces. I just had to figure out where to place them.
Okay. So we have a diagonal, a bishop here, a king, and a horsey, or knight as normal people would call it. I think the idea is probably to put him in check. So the king is here. This is the queen. And therefore we would need this guy probably here. I'm guessing here because if I put the king here, it would be in check with the queen, and that couldn't happen. And so then I suspect it's just like this. Doesn't that surely put him in check? No, it doesn't. Because this king could... I'm trying to get checkmate, not just check. Maybe if I did instead this. So he can't move here, but the queen could kill this guy, but it wouldn't stop the horse. The king can't move here, here, or here because this guy would be able to kill him, right? Can the king attack directly head on? I believe so. It's been a while since I played chess, actually. And the knight is putting him in check. So maybe... And it's only these 3 pieces, these slots. So it's not any of the other places. So maybe I'm supposed to put him here. That does that. And then move this. The grabbing on and locking down is not working very well. The weird point is all these other elements. Because it honestly, the king has to be here. Because that's the only point in which these knights don't attack him, or this queen doesn't attack him. And then maybe I put the knight here and the bishop up here. And I assume something's supposed to happen. Maybe I move the knight down here. Maybe I move the knight down here. Maybe I do this. And maybe I do this. Maybe I do that. This is ridiculous. I should have found the solution by now. This does require you to actually understand the basic rules of chess, I assume. Unless there's not some other trick going on here. Like, lining things up wouldn't make a lot of sense. And I assume when I get it right, it will just unlock something. How does this work? Let's see. Hint. The reds outnumbers the white, but the solution could still be a white checkmate win. But make sure you keep the white king out of check. So, at the very least, we know that's what we're supposed to do. Alright. The king can't be here, because he'd be in check with this and this. The king can't be here, because he'd be in check with this, and this also would put that in check. The king also can't be here, because this puts him in check and this puts him in check. The king can be here, because the knights don't attack diagonally like that, and he would be perfectly safe. So, that part we'd figured out. That the king is here. And we're trying to get a white checkmate move. The king also, I suppose, could be here, as it is, because nothing really stops him from being in this point. Like, this doesn't put him in check, this doesn't put him in check, this doesn't put him in check, or anything like that. So both of these are options, but he can't certainly be here. And then the next question...
Bingo! I mean, checkmate.
Well, I figured it out just through randomly moving things. And we find the Holy Grail.
Look.
What is that? It's not the Holy Grail, is it?
No, Senor Stobbart. It is the communion chalice of the De Vasconcelos, missing for almost 700 years.
Wow. Well, go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
Are you sure? This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobbart.
Sure, I'm sure.
Be funny if it's cursed, she touches it and it kills her.
The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
So we get the
I
grail.
solved another puzzle.
You did?
And then
Well,
we go back.
I guess I did.
Well, what was it? What's the answer?
1314.
What does that mean?
It was the date when Jacques de Molay was burned, wasn't it?
Of course.
The answer was hidden in a stained glass window. When I looked through the lens, the picture changed. It became a man surrounded
Yeah, but what
by
did we
flames.
do with that?
It seems to me the
knowledge.
answers to the Templar puzzles are as cryptic as the clues. Sometimes I wonder if the manuscript isn't an elaborate joke.
The Knights Templar weren't the kind of people to play jokes, were they?
So we've got this grail, this chalice, which doesn't probably help us. I don't think. I don't know where it goes or what you do with it.
Is there something going on between you and Labano?
What business is it of yours? We agreed all this. The clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but
So get off my case.
this is the chalice I discovered in Spain.
So we did that
I still
section.
can't figure out why the Countess gave it to you. After losing it for all those years, she simply gave it away to a total stranger. She's one prawn short of a paella.
The Countess is a fine lady. You shouldn't compare her with seafood.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between you and that Countess.
Are you serious? She's old enough to be my grandmother.
So let's check the manuscript again. I'd hate to do it, but I
Let's
guess I
take
have
another
to.
look at the manuscript.
So the lens and let's see, this part.
There's
I
a guy
think
with
we've
a
done
sword
everything.
and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
The sword. Is it the sword of Baphomet, maybe? And the way will be shown via the lens. And then this.
A knight with a crystal ball. The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened.
Yeah, and we solved that one, I believe. But I have no idea about this one.
There's a guy working on a loom.
And we didn't really do
There's a
anything with
woman
this.
looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
Interesting.
Look there, 2 guys on the same horse.
And let's talk about this guy again, I guess.
Just how long have you known Labano?
Andre? We met at college. He helped me out when I was a fresher. Showed me around, that sort of thing.
You never told me that before. I thought he was just a working acquaintance.
So he is. I rarely see him these days. You know, he hasn't changed much. A little lesser at the front, perhaps. I'd forgotten how much fun he could be.
I'd better get back to the quest.
So back to the quest. And we're kind of in this weird position. Like the airport, we can't go anywhere. So we solved that section. And we've got this cup. And I guess I should give the cup to the museum curator and see if maybe he has something he can tell me about it. As far as items, that's the only new item we have. So let's talk to this guy about it and see if he can help us figure
Hi,
out
Andre.
what it is for.
Hello, Georgie. What do you make of this cup, Andre? It's a 14th century communion vessel. Spanish, probably. What do you make of this cup, Andre? It's a 14th century communion vessel.
Interesting, I have
Spanish,
to click
probably.
on it from this point for it to be marked
Thanks for your help,
out.
Andre. You're welcome.
So no new information there. So then we go back to Montfaucon, I suppose. And I guess we'd have to get rid of this guy if we wanted to go back in the sewers. And I don't know a real reason why I'd want to go in the sewers. Let's see. And why can we search and look at this this casket, this tomb, but none of the others?
A knight, there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess.
So let's give this to the preacher, because I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, a bishop or whatever would
Hello again, Father.
probably have some use for it.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
What do you make of this chalice?
It certainly looks very old.
About as old as this church, I think.
There seems to be an engraving on it.
Yeah? What does it say?
I do not know, it is very tarnished. With your permission, I could try polishing it. I promise I will be very careful.
Ah, yes, he did polish the candles, so let's let him polish the chalice.
That'd be very good of you.
This shouldn't take very long. Feel free to look around.
Okay, thanks.
So did he just hand me the candle? No. And we can look around, or we could just talk to him, I bet, and that'll be fine.
Hey, thanks.
It is my pleasure, monsieur.
What was the writing on the chalice?
It was not writing, my mistake. It was a coat of arms. The remarkable thing is that it seems very familiar.
Yeah?
Oui, I think I have seen it on that wall tomb in the far corner. That winged horse is quite distinctive.
So let's ask about the window and about this cup.
I noticed that the stained glass window on the left looks more modern
We'd
than the
already
middle one.
asked this question,
You
but
have a
they
keen eye, monsieur.
are leaving
The
it
original
there
window
to
was
act
destroyed
as a
in the last
hint,
war.
I guess.
It was as old as the church.
Either that or
Early
the game
14th
is
century.
bugged.
Oh man, that's awful.
Oui, a terrible loss.
And it
Still,
looks like
the
the
church and the
candle
other
that he
windows
was
survive.
polishing is right here, but I can't pick it up or do anything with it.
Boy, what a shine you got on this.
Merci. It is all in the wrist action.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
See, he like put down the candle, but... So now, either this or this is gonna match the cup.
Now that my attention had been drawn to it, there was no mistake. There was no name on it, but the coat of arms was undeniably the Pegasus of the De Vasconcelos family. I'd found the last resting place of Don Carlos. My eye was drawn to the biblical references carved into the edge of the tomb. Hey, maybe these biblical references mean something.
This jumble of letters is carved on the side of the knight's tomb. You must look for and highlight a number of biblical verses references, comparing the name of a book followed by the chapter and verse in Latin numerals. Okay, how am I going to do this? So, for example, Luke chapter 8 verse 2 would be displayed as Luke VII plus II. You must find and highlight all the verse references. Highlight the full verse reference and the letters will stay lit. Otherwise, the letters will fade. George will read the verse references once they are all highlighted. So, does this require an actual knowledge of the Bible verses, I suppose? Corinthians... but is this in Italian? So, Corinthians 4 plus 5.
Corinthians 14:5. Not much to go on, but it must have meant something. If I examined the tomb more closely, there might be other clues to find.
Let's see. But see, like Rex plus Mundi, VI, XII, XV, it doesn't work this way. You don't ever go XII, XV. Carpe is not a book in the Bible. Here's Psalms.
Psalms 22:21.
Let's see. Yeah, anybody playing this game not familiar with the books of the Bible is going to have some troubles. Horribilis, Shorabilis, that's not a book. Unless this is supposed to be like in a different language.
Psalms 32:7. The numbers refer to a chapter and a verse in the Bible.
Now, it's not any diagonal ones, is it? If it is diagonal ones, that's going to be a nightmare. And I assume it's not on the outside of the on the outside here. Let's see. Greater Copetus. It must be some that go downward, but then not all of these line up either. See, if I try to highlight this Mundi, that's nothing. If I try to highlight Carpe, that's nothing. And there's Majorum, but that's not a book in the Bible. But I can't also be done, can I? Because then that would make sense. Here's John, IV plus this.
John 4:11. There were no more references to find, but a series of Roman numerals ran around the plaque. I made a note in case they meant something.
So
Psalms 32:7.
only
John
4
4:11.
to find.
Corinthians 1:4-5. And just one more. Psalms 22:21. I may not be perfect, but I've got a memory like a steel trap. The chalice had led me to these inscriptions, but it looked like a happy coincidence to me. After all, the de Vasconcelos arms were already on the manuscript. Nope, I was still convinced that the chalice had some significance all of its own.
So either we're going to get these verses from this guy or Nicole, or we're going to go look at the Bible back at the Visconza's area, which I would be surprised if we actually end up going back there. Well, we kind of have to go back there because I kind of think there was more stuff to do. Let's talk to the bishop.
Hello again,
first.
Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
No, he doesn't
Catch
have
you later.
anything.
Au revoir, monsieur.
And so we know we're up to page 17 now. Let's see. So we're gonna have to get somebody to look up the answers, which it's either go back here, which we can't do, or talk to her. Maybe talk to the museum guy too. Back at Nicole's
So
apartment.
the curse of the de Vasconcelos is lifted?
Oh no, the Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice, but there's still the riddle of the missing knight.
Well, you can forget about that now and get back to finding the Templar's secret.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
You've already
what?
done that,
I can
though.
explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
The Countess entrusted me with the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will. Look at the chalice now, Nico.
What happened? It's shiny.
The priest at Montfaucon buffed it up for me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, looks as good as new.
No. You found a use for a priest. That's incredible.
So, I guess there's nothing
I'd
here.
better get back to the quest.
So unless the police people know the Bible versus... I'll ask this guy and maybe he knows. It would be kind of weird to
Hi,
have
Andre.
to
Hello,
look it
Georgie.
up like in an actual Bible. Ooh, we can ask about this though. We saw that.
While I was in Syria, I discovered a strange pagan statue. It was like a head with 3 bearded faces. Horrible.
That sounds as if it could be Baphomet, the idol described by the Templars.
Ah,
The
Baphomet.
poor Knights of Christ had an idol that looked like that?
Allegedly. The description of the idol came from the evidence extracted by the Inquisition. Mind you, not one statue or idol was ever found on Templar property. Until now, that is. Just last month, a statue of Baphomet was unearthed right here in Paris.
Interesting.
Where?
At the Institut Hermétique de Naval. The statue is beneath the foundations. It was discovered by some workmen while renovating the building.
Can you tell me any more about the statue of Baphomet?
It's a fearful image, even now. A bearded head. The base of the statue is carved with Templar symbols. One of the workmen noticed a curious stain at the base. He claimed it looked like blood.
Blood?
That's right.
Maybe not. Thanks for your help, Andre.
So
You're
Andre
welcome.
didn't help with the Bible verses. It would be insane to actually have to pull out a Bible and look up these verses and then see what they say. But we do now have the site de Baphomet unlocked, and as it seems, either I was going to have to go to the police post or the site of Baphomet. So let's go to the site of Baphomet. We've got a new area to talk to new people and do new research, and it seems like this game is always giving you something a little bit more. Let's see how much of the game we've actually completed according to its internal metric. 81% at this point. So we are approaching that final bend in the race as it is. I wouldn't be surprised if there was 4, maybe 5 more scenes in the entire game. But the story certainly doesn't feel like that. The story feels like it could go on another hour, 2, 3, because we really haven't found anything or done anything. It feels very much like, well, we may find the broken sword and then immediately see a cutscene and that just finishes the story. Or we kill Khan or kill the Templars or kill them all, and that might be the end of the story too. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. I hope that helps out. If you want to support me further, click on my name, Rydo. On the right is a button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.